Yeah, Valley Conference football tonight, this afternoon. It's the Emmaus Green Hornets taking on the Central Catholic Vikings. Hi again and welcome everyone. Al DeCaro alongside Doug Heater. Glad you could join us on Service Electric TV2 Sports. And mid-afternoon, possibility of some rain in our forecast, but otherwise it looks like we're going to have sunny skies for the rest of this afternoon, and we have a good one in store for you on TV2 Sports as Emmaus comes in with a record of 4-4, Central Catholic with a record of 3-5, and both of these teams, Doug, as you look at it, still have a possibility of getting into the district berth, 1-4A, 1-3A, but lots of things have to happen.
I think when we saw Central Catholic a couple weeks ago, obviously that was Eastern Conference is what they were talking about, and they were hoping to win out. But we talked, we saw Emmaus last week against Allen, and Joe Baudelaire told us before the game that Eastern Conference was a possibility, but right now a possibility is a District 11 berth, and obviously they need things to happen. There's big games next week all around. There'll be a big game here, a big game in Easton. But I think most importantly for these coaches, they want to win out the rest of the way, and they want to reward their seniors with a postseason berth, and that's what it's all about today.
Well, for Joe Baudelaire in his first year at Emmaus, of course, he was at Central Catholic a year ago as the head coach, so it's a return back to where he coached. He coming off a win against Allen 14-13. We talked about him. He said, well, it's not me against the kids. It's just our team against their team.
That's exactly what both coaches are going to tell you, and I think the important thing is what we just said about them winning this ball game today. But obviously both of these coaches know the system that they're opposing today. Donnie Roberts knows, and so does Joe Baudelaire, what he's going to see and what he's going to put forth. So it should be a very competitive game because really these coaching staffs know each other very well. They both admitted that they don't do much different than they did last year, so it should be a very close competitive game. And for us, that adds a little intrigue that these guys know each other and have known each other for so long.
Early part of the season, Brian Frazier was the quarterback, but since then, it's been Mike Briscoe, the sophomore. He's done a great job, no question about it. His numbers speak for themselves. He can rush the ball. He has 42 rushes for 171 yards and 4 touchdowns. But he also has 2 touchdowns through the air. But over the last couple weeks, you can see that he can really move the ball effectively downfield.
A lot of coaches in the LVC are going to tell you that he's the difference in this Emmaus team, and that's not taking anything away from Brian Frazier, but he seems to have been leading and is leading this team much better over the last few weeks. Last week's game against Allen was a very impressive game. It was against a very good defense, a very physical defense, and he had a great game. Today should be another test, and so will next week. But today a big test because Central Catholic, they want to try to disrupt Mike Briscoe. They're going to probably throw some blitzes at him and see what they can do to frustrate him. If that has been the one thing that nobody's done all season, they're going to see if they can do it today.
Well, what about the defense for the Emmaus Green Hornets? They've been absolutely solid. Against Bethlehem Catholic, against Parkland, did not win those games, but really performed effectively. Brian Rutkowski, one of the key players, the linebacker, he's a senior, has 2 sacks on the year, but we saw him against Allen. He was very productive.
A very hard-working defense, and he's one of the leaders. Rutkowski had a big and key sacks last week in key positions. When we talked to Joe Baudelaire about this defense, he was very impressed with the fact that they shut Allen out in the second half, and it was very important. Field position played to their factor. Rutkowski had a big game. He's going to have another big game again, or needs to have another big game again today. They have a very balanced running attack to Central Catholic, but if they're going to get some heat on the quarterback, Rutkowski's going to be the guy, and I think another difference that Emmaus has done better over the last few weeks has been the play of this defense.
Over at Central Catholic, Donnie Roberts comes in his first year as head coach of this program, and they are 3-5 thus far in the season. They're coming off a huge win, a shutout 49-0 against Crestwood, and he feels his team confident, a possibility of getting into the districts with a win today.
Obviously in AAA and in Eastern Conference, and he said the big thing about that is rewarding his seniors with another game and a postseason berth, obviously, but he's got to take care of business today and then next week. But when you talk about last week's game, 49-0, it was a game that really loosened this team up a little bit. They had a great week of practice. He feels the last 2 weeks have been great, and he hopes that after a great week of practice this week, it equates to a win just like it did last week against Crestwood.
Oh, he mentioned 49-0 to score. One reason for that was Rob Hauk. I mean, what can you say about his performance? 7 touchdowns, 6 on the ground, 1 on a punt return, and he's had a heck of a practice. I know I talked to him in midweek also. He's excited just to get this game going on.
Exactly, and he's only got a couple games left, and this is a big game against the former coaching staff, and I think having a game like that last week with 7 touchdowns, you don't get too many of those, and obviously he's going to be a key guy that this defense for Emmaus is going to key on, and if this team, Central Catholic, plans to be successful today, he must have a big game.
Now you talk about having a game also maybe through the air. Nick Bett, of course, a quality receiver. Josh Hinkle, the junior, the transfer from Deerfield High School, has done a pretty good job here in the Central Catholic offense, and he comes in with 10 touchdowns on the year, over 1,200 yards through the air, and he can also rush the ball if he has to. He has a couple touchdowns.
Well, we've seen Hinkle a couple times this year, and he's a great athletic quarterback. He gets out of the pocket, he runs well, and as this season has gone on, he's learned this offense a little bit better. He's gotten more comfortable, and I think he's going to have a big game today. I mean, he's had his big game against Deerfield a couple weeks ago, but he'd like to have another big one today, and again, successfully. If Hal can run like he did last week, have a big game, it's going to make things easier today for Josh Hinkle.
Well, Saturday afternoon football, and it's going to come your way next on TV2 Sports.
Lehigh Valley Hyundai, we're making it easy and affordable to drive home. Do the deal on a 2002 Hyundai Accent with $2,000 down, cash or trade for only $69.95 or $129 a month. Or do the deal on a 2002 Hyundai Elantra GLS with $2,000 down, cash or trade for just $96.95 or $179 a month. Plus, every Hyundai comes with the Hyundai Advantage, America's best warranty. 10 years of worry-free driving. At Lehigh Valley Hyundai, we're making it easy and affordable to drive home.
When you need a prescription filled, who do you turn to? Walters Pharmacy. Walters Pharmacy compounds prescriptions and takes filling prescriptions as their #1 priority. At Walters, you'll save time. Trust Walters Pharmacy for convenience with free, fast delivery in the city of Allentown. You can visit walterspharmacy.net and email the pharmacists with questions. Since 1937, Walters Pharmacy, making life easier through genuine care.
There really is no place like home. And there's no one like the ABE Doors and Windows man to make sure your home is completely secure and energy efficient. We rely on the finest manufacturers like Gorel. From bay windows to storm doors, they set the standard for quality, beauty, and dependability that will last a lifetime. When you want a company that lives up to its reputation, call the ABE Doors and Windows man. Because quality doesn't cost, it pays.
Hey, football fans! If you love dealing with a winning team, head to the leader, Kleckner's in Whitehall and Emmaus, featuring GE washers and dryers, GE dishwashers, GE microwaves, GE ranges, GE refrigerators. Plus, Kleckner's features free delivery, backed by their own factory-trained service department. Hurry in for best selection. Make us your last stop and see the savings on new GE appliances at Kleckner's, 2177 MacArthur Road in Whitehall and 575 Chestnut Street, Emmaus.
Welcome back to Jay Burnicombe Stadium in Allentown. Al DeCarlo, Doug Heater, glad you could join us on this Saturday afternoon of football, and we expect a good one between the Emmaus Green Hornets with a record of 4-4 and the Central Catholic Vikings with a record of 3-5. Central Catholic coming off a win against Crestwood 49-0. Rob Houck scored 7 touchdowns, and Emmaus beat Allen by the score of 14-13 in this one. And Doug, you know, you look there, take a look at Coach Roberts. He has to be pleased, you know, after a 49-0 effort against Crestwood, but, you know, he says, you know, going into a contest like that, it's a little bit different than coming into a contest like this. You know, the caliber play a little bit more stronger when it comes to the Emmaus Green Hornets.
Well, they played Crestwood last week, and it was a Saturday afternoon. He knew the team that was in front of them, and he told us that he had told his troops to get on top of this team early and put them away, and that's exactly what they did. They scored 21 points in the first half and obviously had a great, solid game. But, you know, when we look at the district playoff possibilities for these two teams, he knows if they can win a couple games here, they have a chance in 3A. But obviously they have Becca next week, and they have a tough one today against Emmaus. So, you know, they don't like to talk about that too much, but obviously that's a goal. And like he said, he wants to have his seniors to have more than just 2 more football games.
Well, Saturday afternoon football, but Friday night football had some great results and some great games, no doubt about it. And, you know, it starts, you know, with the Parkland Trojans last night, Doug, and I know you missed that game, one of the best games of the year. And take a look at some of the scores and some of the efforts that happened there. As Bethlehem Catholic, they won their game 50-13. They're now 9-0 on the season. Allen is 6-3. 2 straight losses for the Canaries. In that game, Adam Bednarik, 9 of 10 passing, 229 yards, 2 touchdowns, also a rushing touchdown. Fred Rice, 3 TDs of 2, 14, and 1. And Doug, let's start with Bethlehem Catholic. They are the premier team in the Lehigh Valley.
There's no question, you know, and I think we said this last week, that every year we seem to say this may be the year for Becca. And obviously they've got another game next week against Central, and they're going to have a first-round opponent in districts. And, of course, if they make it district finals, but this could be the year. This is a very balanced team. They seem to be coming together over the years. There doesn't seem to be too many weaknesses. They don't have a standout in one position. They're very balanced offensively. They are very good defensively. And, obviously, this could be the year. And they're going to be well-tested over the next couple weeks. But a phenomenal game last week. They have one more against Central next week before the district start.
Well, you see all the scoring that you go through, and you could start there in the Colonial League. 33-13, Saucon Valley with a big win over Southern Lehigh. They are 5-4. Joe Baker, 22 rushes, 152 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Salisbury, 35-0 over Palisades. Salisbury's now 5-4. Pete Worrell, 11 rushes, 94 yards, and a touchdown. Salisbury rushing for 307 yards on the night. Penargil with a tough game against Notre Dame, 10-7. They're now 8-1. Only touchdown, Jake DeBoer, 19 yards to Steve Ronaldo. Northwestern, they're 7-2 now with a 56-7 thumping of Palmerton. Roland Kern, 6 of 8, 104 yards, 2 touchdowns, also a rushing touchdown. Ray Keschel had 2 rushing touchdowns. Wilson, 21-0. They're 5-4 over Bangor. Dave Yopes, 12 rushes, 114 yards, and a touchdown. Ed Labach, 18 rushes, 88 yards, and a touchdown. And Northern Lehigh, in one of the biggest games of the night in the Colonial League, Doug, they're 8-1 now. 17-14, Aaron Mill, a 33-yard field goal with no time left. Ryan Alushak with another great effort. 26 carries, 208 yards on the night.
Solid running attack again last night for Northern Lehigh, and again defensively did a good job against Caddy. And that game important for Northern Lehigh because it keeps them atop the rankings, and you know, coming into today, they have a 40-point advantage over Penargil, and they could hold that #1 seed. Penargil has a game next weekend against Bangor, and they're going to get additional bonus points for that because Bangor's a AAA school, so they get 120 with a victory, and it could be enough for Northern Lehigh to hold on to that top spot. Both teams want that home field advantage. Roy Cortez will tell you every single week that he loves playing Saturday afternoon games up in Penargil, and he's going to want the home field advantage if there's a championship game there. And obviously for Jim Tack, he's going to want to play on that muddy track up in Slatington. So important game for those two teams. And Northwestern, important for them last week, getting back into it last night against Palmerton. They have Caddy next week, so things aren't finished yet in AA in the Colonial League, that's for sure.
No question. We saw some Lehigh Valley Conference football scores, and Parkland now 8-1. They won over Freedom handily, 49-13. But the biggest story in that is Parkland's now 8-1. Austin Scott, 421 yards on the ground, 6 touchdowns. His touchdown runs of 97, 4, 55, 55, 68, and 70. Of course, Nick Kurtz of Whitehall had 429 yards in 1999. They do clinch #2 seed in district play. Now 2,340 yards for Austin Scott and 32 touchdowns. Whitehall 38-12, another shocker, but Whitehall is playing better football, Doug, coming in against Liberty, where now they're 3-6, and Liberty hurting with now at 5-4.
Whitehall is the team over the last couple weeks that has proven that the old coach's cliche of taking one game at a time. You know, they've played 2 good teams over the last couple weeks, Easton last week and Liberty, and in a sense have thrown a monkey wrench in both of those teams' postseason plans, because Liberty, you know, obviously would have felt that they have the upper hand last night and would have liked to have moved on and be 6-3 against Freedom next week. And for Easton, it may be enough for them, but they have to beat Parkland. So Whitehall, and you know, Bob Pandy, one of the nicest coaches you're going to see around in the area, and it's nice for him to have a couple big wins, and they have Northampton next week, so this team could go out regular season 4-6, and obviously after starting the way they did, that's a big improvement over the way it looked. He struggled a little bit, but this team's coming along, and that's, you know, the Whitehall story is interesting as you see where they are now at 3-6 overall. That's the story where we're going to see that LVC type games each and every week next year.
Oh, we'll look at the standings in just a second. Let's pause and honor America with the playing of our national anthem. For those viewers who are joining us here on Service Electric TV2 Sports, game delayed just a little bit. Of course, senior day here for Central Catholic, and they made those announcements. Take a look at today's officials, Doug, and Glenn Rissmiller, the referee, Kevin Hoffman, Herb Burrell, Ryan Mushko, and Joe Chiorio. And we talked about the standings and how they go. And coming into the last week of the season, of course, you know, you have those rivalries. You have the Deer of Allen games. You know, those are the games that are the ones that, you know, players play for each and every year. And that's what they're going to have. But those teams, Freedom's going to need a win. You know, Liberty with that tough loss yesterday. And things change a little bit.
It's interesting because over the last couple seasons, that Deer of Allen game, you know, has been, in some cases, a game for one win, for the team's only win. And they've always been very competitive. And this year, though, you know, Deer, with a win tonight against Pottsville, would sit at 5-4, and also would be one of those teams with 4 losses, looking at on the outside, hoping for a chance to win. And for Allen, they know if they win next week, and if Easton loses, that they would have an opportunity, or actually if Easton, it doesn't really matter what they do with Allen with a victory. So there's some important games next week. The rivalry games over the last couple seasons, Freedom Liberty is going to determine a playoff spot. The Allen game is going to determine a playoff spot, and obviously Easton Parkland, same thing. And I think this is what, you know, we've been talking all season long. Now we're here in week 9 about what the LVC is going to bring next season. We got a taste of it this year. We're going to have those type of games each and every week, and we're going to have this kind of scenario for the 4A playoffs just about every year, with the competition really balancing out over the last couple seasons.
Well, I gave you pretty much all the scores, and we'll look at them later in the broadcast, but we didn't mention the Easton. We touched on them. 37-7 win over Northampton. They're 5-3. Brad Pipparata, 23 of 151 and 3 touchdowns, and a couple other scores. East Stroudsburg North beat Stroudsburg 24-20. Lee Heighton 28-0 over Pocono Mountain West, and Nazareth picked up a much-needed win for them, 19-6 over Pleasant Valley. There's a team that's really struggled, and Doug, when you start the year, you know, with a couple losses in a row, it's really tough to come back from.
Well, Nazareth with a big win last night. They tried to right the ship a little bit. Now, East Stroudsburg, you talked about them. East Stroudsburg South, actually, Ed Christian's club, they are now 5-4 too, and another one of those teams that could sit at 6-4 and miss out on a playoff spot. So a lot of big games, and you know, we talked about Colonial a little bit. Saucon Valley with a big win last night. You know, they're going to take 3 teams from District 11 AAA this year, and they hope to be one of those teams, as is Central Catholic today. So there's a lot of football left in just a couple weeks, and these games become more and more important over the last couple weeks.
Well, the Vikings are on the field. You see the Green Hornets, and the Green Hornets are wearing their yellow today, and Central Catholic will be wearing their green. You look at these two teams, and there's not much of a difference when it comes to the uniforms for the most part. And we talked about Joe Baudelaire, of course. Him and Donnie Roberts not only coach with each other, but they've known each other for over a dozen years. And both coaches saying, hey, it's just another game. You know, I know him, he knows me, but it's not us playing the football game. It's, you know, the players on the field, and that's exactly what it is.
Well, Donnie Roberts said an interesting thing to us this morning, was that, you know, he went through the entire school and wanted the school to be on the same page, that this is a football game today. You know, it's interesting for us to add a little intrigue if we want, that the coaching staffs are familiar. Donnie was an assistant under Joe Baudelaire. He coached these kids last year at Central Catholic, but they're trying to treat this as just another football game, and obviously an important one because they need to win and they want to win out. They don't want to put any sidelights to it. And I think you're seeing that an awful lot over the last couple years, with coaches changing a little bit. You know, Rob Milosky at Freedom and whatnot, and Tony Coco going from Whitehall. So they just try to downplay the game a little bit and let the kids know that this is just another football game this afternoon.
And Doug, we were talking about Central Catholic, a little different for them because they're in District 11, but the 3A bracket, you know, a possibility after their win against Crestwood, you know, that with their record right now being 3-5, they still have that chance to get into the district playoffs. And of course, this is one of those games that you want to win now. The main reason for it is because they have Bethlehem Catholic, you know, at the end of the season. That's going to be one of those games that obviously is going to be your hands full, your toughest game of the year, your arch rivalry on the other side of the field. But you have to win this game to, you know, have that opportunity to possibly get into the district playoffs.
I think you're right, and you know, with some of those AAA teams, with Saucon hanging around there, and with what's going on, and you know, we got the inter-district thing in AAA. I think it's interesting that we do have so many teams from this area that are still alive. So let's go down for the flip here as the captains meet.
Good luck today. Home team, Central Catholic, visitors, Emmaus. You're going to call the coin toss. Head and a tail. Call it in the air, loud and clear. Heads he calls. It is a tails. Central, you won the toss. You're going to receive. Put yourself the way you'd like to kick, please. Over here, right here to me. Central's won the toss. Receive. Guys, shake hands. Let's have a good game. Here we go.
Well, you heard Glenn Miller. Central wins the toss. They will receive. So Donnie Roberts' team will get the ball first to start this game, and a critical game for both teams. And we're excited to bring it to you here on Service Electric TV2 Sports here on Saturday afternoon. And if you're watching us here live at 1 o'clock, a replay will follow at 4 o'clock. And then at 7, it'll be Pottsville and the Deer of Huskies with a replay at 9:30. Weather forecast 57 degrees, overcast skies, light breeze for this afternoon.
You know, you hate to treat this surface like it being a broken record, but every single week we seem to say more and more things about it, and obviously not a factor. And I think that the people in Slatington might want that, you know, over the next couple of weeks.
I'll tell you what,
but
that is a mud bath over there.
Yeah, you know, Sean Martell was on our radio show this morning on WAEB, and he said he loved playing here, and they got another game next week. And you're seeing that now from the kids, realizing that weather is not going to be a factor, and even if it's just a dry conditions, they love playing on the surface. And I think this is something that schools may have to look to over the next couple seasons. And obviously BASD is one of the facilities around here that does house 3 teams, but this is a great facility, and the surface is excellent, and I think it's going to be utilized over the next couple weeks, possibly in the postseason.
Well, a couple weeks ago, as Scott Christie and Tyler McCambridge stand back at their 10-yard line, Scott Christie returned a kickoff for a touchdown. So these players are definitely capable of making some sparks happen in the early going.
Well, Emmaus is going to get a chance to put that defense on the field first in a very important first drive of the ball game for each of these teams. Emmaus did a good job last week against Allen of keeping the field position in their favor, and obviously with the defense on the field first, they get that opportunity again tonight.
Tom Viscuso, the sophomore, ready to kick off. McCambridge and Christie set to receive. This one is a short one, so it'll be picked up about the 25-yard line as a bump, and they will start from their own 29-yard line.
You see, Jake Wutzik was the recipient of that short kickoff. I don't think Emmaus wanted that to happen, as we see Josh Hinkle trot onto the field.
Rakowski made the stop. Casey Hinkle's numbers pretty effective. 10 touchdowns, 5 INTs, over 1,200 yards passing on the year. Under Josh Hinkle, split backs, 2 receivers split on either side. That's Joe McFadden moving to the right side, and they'll start on the ground. And we expect them to run the ball. There's no question about it. Both these teams. That's Rob Hauk. After a heck of a performance a week ago, Mike Briscoe makes the tackle for the Emmaus Green Hornets.
Well, Brusco's at free safety. You know, Emmaus realizes you're going to see some balance, and I think this is what Central Catholic wants to do, establish that run. And obviously, you're going to play the hot hand, and it's Hauk. You know, 7 touchdowns last week, not just carrying the football, but you're going to want to try to establish that run, and you're going to do it with number 20.
Gain of 8 for Hauk. 2nd down and 2. Now trying to come outside, not much there, makes the turn, and now we'll move the chains. Hauk gets up to the 40. And it's Briscoe again with the tackle.
Yeah, and Matt Ernie does a nice job here. I mean, the coaches wanted him to stay at home. Watch number 10, Matt Ernie, come in. He tries to make the tackle right there, and he's got outside contained. They lose that outside contained, but Germani does a nice job. And obviously, Briscoe again from the free safety coming over and running him out of bounds.
1st and 10 from the 41, just underway from J. Bernie Crum Stadium in Allentown. Al DiCarlo, Doug Heater, glad you could join us on Service Electric TV2 Sports. Hauk with 3 straight rushes and another good gain for about 7 yards. Andrew Hayburn with the tackle.
And you got a nice block. Watch 53, the center, Braxheimer. Look at him drive the defender out of the way. That's number 70, and that's Brian Reese. But the linebackers are able to come up and make the play. Now this running attack, that outside run set up that inside run, back-to-back plays for Central.
2nd and 3 for the 48. Now lines up in the slot. In motion to the far side is McCambridge. They give it to McCambridge and does not get outside because Matt Ernie stops him for the loss.
You know, Al, when you and I talked to Donnie Roberts and we talked about this team, and he had said that number 10 for Emmaus is one of his most favorite players to watch for the other team, and he says he is the bread and butter of this club. Watch Matt Ernie come in from the linebacker. Now, he was banged up last week. He is nicked up. He makes a big play. You saw 2 plays now where he has been key in this one. Number 10, if Emmaus is going to be successful defensively, he has to have a big game.
3rd down and 8 after the loss from the 42-yard line. Hinkle will go to the air for the first time this afternoon. Has great field protection in front. Throws it just a little bit over Tyler McCambridge, who came out of the backfield. So, good opening drive, stalled quickly for Central Catholic.
Yeah, they get the first down. Good coverage downfield. You got a good blocking up front, gives Hinkle some time, but you got Ernie underneath, and you have Brusco deep. And there's a case where Hinkle knows he's got to put this where his receiver can get it. Can't underthrow it because Ernie covers on the receiver, and he tries to put it a little bit deep and just too far out. Good defensive series for Emmaus.
Shane Cassiano to punt. Kyle Wise away to his own 23-yard line. And a good roll here, favorable for Central Catholic, down to about the 9.5.
Yeah, another thing that this surface does is right there. Great for punters.
Well, let's take a look at our Kraus Dodge trivia question for this afternoon. Last week, Rob Houck scored 7 touchdowns in Central Catholic's win over Crestwood 49-0. Whose record for touchdowns in a game did he tie, and what year did that happen? And Doug Heater's all over this one. We'll give that answer in quarter number 2. Surprised Doug knows this answer.
You were right. I was all over that one.
Yeah, you were like 7 years old when it happened.
Well, when you see something, I wish. When you see something like that happen, you know that, hey, when's the last time that could have happened, even in the area? And that's when you start looking through the books.
Well, as I was thinking of that trivia question, earlier in the week, Austin Scott for Parkland almost did it last night. Emmaus goes to the ground, and this is Ernie. Ernie breaks through across the 20 up to about the 22.5 before he's tackled on the play by Matt Melly.
You know, we talked about Ernie defensively, and he didn't come out. We saw him a lot in third down situations last week for Emmaus, and here's a first down pickup for him. You see him do a good job of picking off his blockers and getting the secondary. Tell you what, if Ernie has a game like this, if he can carry the ball as effectively as that all day, it's going to be a long afternoon for Central Catholic.
Brusco, good numbers. In relief, and not playing the entire season, but it seems like over the last couple weeks he's really coming to his own. First down and 10 from the 24. Ernie gets popped as he gets taken down by Tom Nagito.
Nagito, who's the strong safety, comes up on this. You know, they're key and run. They bring guys up in the box. Watch number 2 come up. He's keying at Ernie. Nobody blocks him because he comes from that secondary. Does a good job to wrap him up, go low. He comes right around the waist, head down, eyes up. Does a nice stop on Matt Ernie.
Loss of 1 for Ernie. You're talking about not playing as much a week ago, played more on defense, and one reason for it because of a knee injury that he was suffering. Looks like he's at 100% or near 100% coming to this game. 8:45 remaining, opening quarter, no score. Second down and 11. This one with a handoff to Jake Weeder. So Weeder across the 35 up to about the 37-yard line. They will move the chains. Second first down of the drive for the Emmaus Green Hornets. Nagito there again for the stop.
This is a version, if you will, of a speed sweep that we see the wing T offenses run, except it's a straight-ahead isolation block. Nice run by Weeder on that, and they try to get his speed into secondary quickly and try to take advantage of him getting outside the defensive ends. And you see Nagito, who's in that slot, does a nice job of making a tackle.
Brusco under center. They will stay on the ground. Well, that is Sean Parr. Parr with his 24th carry of the year. Maybe gets 1 up to the 40.
You know, and Parr coming back was also important for Joe Baudelaire. See a little counter, Parr trying to get the linebackers, but number 90, that's Joe McFadden, does a good job of reading off of that and making a tackle. You see Emmaus trying to balance it a little bit with some outside runs and trying to utilize their speed, but also come back in between the tackles with some of their power running.
Second 8 from the 41. 3 receivers, 2 lined up to the near side, 1 to the far side, and Weeder. He's going towards Weeder's direction. Incomplete. Missed him by about 4 yards. Covered on the play by Tyler McCambridge. So bring up 3rd and 8.
Now remember what we said too. Donnie Roberts wants to bring some heat. Get a little bit there, but Brusco got time. He did a nice job of looking off the secondary. You saw he looked to his right, and he was looking the deep way all the way to Jacob Weeder, just a little bit overthrown. And that ball will come throughout today and obviously throughout the rest of his career.
No score, 7:37 on the clock. 3rd and 9. So Brusco likely go to the air for the first time this afternoon. And he was going to run with it, tucks it in, avoids a sack, and gets the first down. We know Brusco can do it and move through. Fred Ruck had him but couldn't hold him. And finally taken down by Joe McFadden after the chains are moved.
Yeah, this is what he brings. And you said it, Fred Rook. Watch 78 come in clean, fights off the block of Reese. But these are the kind of tackles you have to make. You're not going to be able to allow Brusco to come clean. He fights off the first hit, just shrugs it aside, and has enough wherewithal to know where the sticks are and runs for a first down. It's a big pickup.
Yeah, 15-yard pickup. 7:15 on the clock. Good opening drive here. Here's Ernie. Ernie tries to bust outside, dives forward, and gets down to the 40-yard line. So 4 here, 5 there, and it's been working effective here. Gino makes a stop.
Yeah, it's not good when you're calling secondary guys each play for tackles.
Gain of about 5 yards on the play.
Nice blocking by the line. Nice block by the fullback, Adam Caverly. And for Emmaus, you know, we saw them last week. They like ball control. They'd be satisfied all day with 5 yards on first down to bring up 2nd and 3rd and short.
2nd and 5 from the 40. Back to the ground, and it's Ernie. Avoids it again and gets the first down. So 2 missed tackles in the last 2 series. Matt Melly makes a stop. And another first down.
Well, Jason Arrett's 35 comes in right there for Central. They blow the trap because he gets around the guard, but they miss another tackle. He's quickly through there, and Ernie's got enough strength to get through. And again, into the secondary before he's hit. The line's doing a good job to open up the hole, and these backs just have plenty of time to pick that spot, and they're going for positive yardage.
6:17 on the clock. Ball down to the 31. Central Catholic received the ball. First series was effective, and then they stalled. And here's Briscoe to the air. Here comes some pressure, and he's going to tuck it in and run. Tries to pop outside. Gets down to about the 31. And again, Briscoe's so dangerous when he comes out of that pocket. Joe McFadden, one of the players in there.
You see they got bet on a blitz, but he's coming from the backside. Now, we saw this play last week where Briscoe elected to throw. Looked like a keeper all the way. He sees his receivers are covered. He's got Parr in front to block, but he gets nice hit. Nagito, nice textbook tackle to take him down. This is the kind of play, though, that Briscoe's going to give you. If he can run out of the pocket like that and then have the option to pass, it's going to be awfully tough for Central to defend that as the game goes on.
Doug, this drive started at the 9-yard line, and they're just moving the ball outfield. 5:20 on the clock. And that's Sean Parr in the carry.
Yeah, and you know, you and I become accustomed to seeing this. We saw Emmaus do this against Allen last week. Watch the block by Bradley Horn, number 74. Did a good job on the trap from the right side to open up the hole, and they're getting into the secondary. McFadden's over there. The linebackers are making plays. You know, they're not doing anything fancy as Emmaus, and that's kind of been their mocker this year. They haven't, and they will not do anything that's really going to stagger you, but they're just very, very efficient, and we're seeing it here on the first drive.
5th first down for the Green Hornets. Nice Briscoe on the sneak. Not much there, so Salvatore in there, along with Kevin Kelly.
I mean, there's really nothing fancy about that, straight up. And I think what you're trying to see here is you're letting your quarterback, if maybe he can find a gap on that defensive line. We've seen Central shift from 5 to 6 guys back to 4, and I think what they tried to do is give Briscoe an opportunity to find a big gap and go for positive yardage.
2nd and 7 from the 17. Rob Eck lines up to the far side of the field. Ernie in the slot. In motion, Jake Weeder, and we got our first whistle of the afternoon.
You know, Central made contact. It just depends now whether they were drawn off or not.
Dead ball foul, encroachment on the defense. 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
5-yard penalty will be
Central anxious to get in there. This has been a great drive, and you know, this is exactly what we saw last week against Allen. And Allen had a lot of offside penalties. You know, Briscoe does a good job of keeping his head when he comes in to call the play. He takes his time, he's patient, and it draws an anxious defense that's trying to make a big play. I mean, this Central defense is on their heels. It draws an anxious defense offside, and it worked last week, and it's worked here for at least one time.
Now down to 4 minutes on the clock. Now it's a 2nd down and 2 from the 12. So they go to the ground. This is Ernie. Ernie spins and gets down to about the 10. This is close, depending on the spot of the football.
Well, Nick Bett, number 44, is going to finish this one off, but they got good inside penetration. Right there, 55, which is Fashing, the middle linebacker for Central, is going to come in. Watch him come in and make the hit. Slows things down a little bit. There's Fashing, doesn't get the tackle, but slows things up. And there's the strength of Nick Bett in his hands, able to grab the jersey of Ernie. That's a big defensive play.
I thought maybe they had to stop there, Doug, and then get the first down.
Well, they got another set of downs at Emmaus, but Ernie had a lot of lane on that outside.
Well, likely they're going to get the touchdown before the first down because it's about inches away. They can get it. Here's Ernie. Sees nothing inside, tries to cut outside. Ernie breaks another one, then stumbles across and gets down to about the 9.5 and tripped up by Sam Martucci.
Martucci's going to finish. So watch the job that Central does to stay vertical down this line of scrimmage. McFadden bumps him out. Bett was in there, and then Martucci's the one to finish it off. But they do a good job, that Viking defensive line, to go along the line of scrimmage and not allow Ernie to get to the corner. Didn't have the speed. Kind of slowed up a little bit when he got the handoff and didn't have the speed to get to that corner.
This drive over 5.5 minutes old, and a little longer than that. 2nd and 9. It's 9, not 2nd and goal, and a little jump, and we'll have a stoppage here. The sun's starting to come out here in Allentown. Take a look at Joe Baudelaire, his coaching staff. And what a change in attitude for these Emmaus Green Hornets.
Coachman on the defense. 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
That's a second offside penalty. You know, Al, you talk about Emmaus, and you know, here's a program that is definitely going in the right direction. Everything is starting to fall in place. You know, they've got the coach that they've been looking for. You know, they're going to get a new press box next year. They're going to upgrade the facilities. They're going to upgrade their field. They're going to build a field house. The weight room is, and the weight training is starting to fall into place. So everything is going right for the Emmaus Green Hornets. I think we're seeing that already this season.
2nd and goal from the 5. Here's Sean Parr, and Parr's met at the 5-yard line and gets down to about the 4. Talking about that new press box possibly coming to Emmaus. Did you get a chance to sign the old one? Because I know I did.
No, I
put my ink in that press box. Figure when they take it down, they can see my name in there.
Rich Snizak said to me Saturday at Penargil, he said he's surprised you got out of there alive with all those comments you were making about it being built in the 1800s. I said, oh, it's all good fun.
Yeah, it's all good and fun. We got a new one coming. It was built in the 1800s.
That was rumored 1910.
Oh, 1910, rumored.
Rumored.
Now, speaking of press boxes, J. Bernie Crum Stadium, with it, you know, great facilities. They will likely get a new press box by next season also. And a great place to watch a football game here. And first touchdown of the game. And that's Matt Ernie. And he makes on top, 6-0.
You know, Ernie is going to get the credit, and he's going to get the touchdown. What a great drive by Emmaus. You know, just enough. You know, they threw only a couple passes. Neither one was complete, but just enough to keep the defense honest. Offensive line did a good job, and they got a huge block by Caverly there, 24, to spring Ernie. And that's an awesome drive by Emmaus. Defense comes out, stops him, and then they score a touchdown.
Scuso, point after. Good look at it. 7-0 Green Hornets as the sun peeks out here at J. Bernie Crum Stadium in Allentown. A drive that lasted over 6 minutes.
Take a look at Ernie on that pitch and the sweep. Now watch the block by Caverly. Bang, right there on 23. And that's Scott Christie to allow Ernie to get to the outside. But it starts up front here. Look at the linemen getting down. They're getting down. They're holding up guys. We got nice blocking by the tight ends to hold guys up. And you get Ernie. There's the speed. He was able to get it to the corner that time. Good drive.
Definitely a good drive. 7-0 to score. I mean, this drive started at the 9.5, the 10-yard line. So, you know, a 90-yard drive.
And for Ernie, that's his 6th rushing touchdown of the season. You know, and he started it defensively with a big series. You know, they got a first down at Central. Look at that, 15 plays, 90 yards. Vintage Emmaus football.
Nothing wrong with that. Amazing. Matt Ernie, 5-yard touchdown run. Looks like he is at 100%. Huge, huge drive there for the Green Hornets. Well, Donnie Roberts' team down now 7-0. And you look at the clock, and it's at 1:30. Now, we know both of these two teams are like identical when you talk about the offense, that they're going to all run the ball and they'll pass when they have to. Tom Viscuso to kick off. McCambridge and Scott Christie are deep. Cambridge to the far side. And this will be Scott Christie that handles this one off the bounce to the 25. Christie's dangerous, gets up to the 30, 35, and finally gets taken down about the 36-yard line. So good field position for the Green Hornets. Akin Akajola makes the stop.
You know, and last week, Emmaus allowed a kickoff return to start the second half against Allen that nearly tied the football game. And you see here today in 2 kickoffs that they've elected to go with that short kick, a high short kickoff to let their special teams get down and under it and try to eliminate Central from making the special teams play.
Receivers split. They'll go to what started the game is Rob Houck, and Emmaus defense all over Houck as he tries to bust through the middle. No gain, and maybe doesn't get back to the line of scrimmage. Joshua Searfoss, one of the players in there for the stop.
Yeah, and Andrew Morrissey, 35, makes a nice play too. You know, Central's going to try to see, there's Morrissey, 35, getting down and low, not allowing. Now, when I talk about secondary making tackles, if Morrissey can make hits like that and your linebackers can make hits at the line, you'll take it.
Second down, here's Hinkle. Hinkle avoids a rush, now throws off the back foot downfield and almost has a completion to Tyler McCambridge. That one's incomplete down about the 40-yard line.
Oh, McCambridge did a great thing there. He has Brian Rakowski running step for step with him. This is where McCambridge is open. Hinkle finally spots him. What McCambridge does, he comes back to the football, but just a little bit thrown behind him. And I tell you what, Rakowski did a good job to knock that away. McCambridge is going to come across, and here's where Hinkle spots him. But Rakowski gets it just enough of this to knock this out of his hands. I mean, he has it for a second and knocked away.
Yeah, Hayburn with that pressure. Third down and 9, Hinkle. Doesn't see anything. Now here comes the pressure again. Rakowski. And Hinkle gets leveled as he hits that one. Maybe gets about a yard on it. He absolutely got drilled.
Boy, that was Sean Parr. What a shot. They had the middle screen or a screen set up, but Brian Reese, number 70, has it sniffed out. There's Rakowski on the pressure. You'll see 70 underneath, covering Bet. Look at that shot by Parr. We'll get a better look at it from here. He's looking back, and there's where the screen is covered. Dang.
So 2 straight series that Central Catholic has to punt away. And nothing there on the return by Kyle Wise. And the coverage has been effective here for Central Catholic. Tyler McCambridge there. And Emmaus' second possession will start from their own 18-yard line.
Well, the good thing there was Hinkle was able to get up after that hit. Good special teams coverage, you're right. I tell you what, though, this Emmaus defense, and this is nothing different than opponents and fans have seen all season. This defense flies to the football. They're a lot of fun to watch. Very aggressive. They don't play back and let the opponent or the offense dictate the pace. They're going to set the tempo, and then so far over the last couple weeks, it's been very effective.
7-0 the score. Emmaus on top. Briscoe with 2 receivers lined up to the far side of the field. Last play of quarter number 1. Unless there's a penalty, and here's Ernie. Ernie busts outside, and a big pickup across the 35 all the way up to the 38-yard line. And that will end quarter number 1 as Matt Melly makes that stop. 7-0 Green Hornets on top as we take a look as we go to the break.
Hey, get that cat off your lap and get to school. Get an education and get a brand new laptop computer there instead. Call Allentown Business School now at 888-806-0808. Enroll in one of our diploma or associate degree programs and you can be on your way to a super career. And pick up your laptop. Get a leg up on your future. And a laptop to boot. Call Allentown Business School now at 888-806-0808.
Welcome back to J. Bernie Crum Stadium in Allentown. Al DeCarlo, Doug Heater, glad you could join us on this Saturday afternoon. And it's turning to be a nice day in the Lehigh Valley with sunshine over our area. Hope you're enjoying our coverage on TV2 Sports. 7-0. Emmaus on top on a Matt Ernie 5-yard touchdown run with 1:30 left. That was a 16-play drive for the Green Hornets. And Ernie with a big pickup there on the last one of 21 yards as we get ready for quarter number 2 from the 39-yard line. Briscoe pitches this one back. Here's Ernie. Ernie gets a block, now goes in through the middle, has some running room across the outside, and there's a flag all the way back at the 47 after a huge pickup by Ernie, really shuffling his feet and getting downfield. Tyler McCambridge makes the stop, but we'll wait and see.
And there's a holding. You know, when your running attack is running as good as this, the officials are going to start looking in, and they found something. This is behind the run. Pitch sweep. This is the same play that Emmaus scored a touchdown on, and this is behind Ernie, and it's tough because what a great run by Ernie.
On the offensive team, 10 yards from the spot of the foul, still first down.
Joe Bottolari very upset on that call. Well, watch Ernie.
Look at him cut back. You know, there's Caverly in front. Now, the hold is back there off your screen behind it. It's not in front of Ernie, and that's why he's so upset. He's upset at the players, first of all, for the penalty, but I think he's more upset that it was a hold called behind the play or away from the play that didn't really dictate the run for Ernie at all.
First and 12 from the 37. Briscoe rolls out to throw. Off the back foot, has a receiver, incomplete. Was looking downfield. Rob Eck. Watch Eck though here, Doug. It looked like he still could have maybe run a little bit more.
Now he tried.
Yeah, now he's going full steam.
But see, Briscoe really, yeah, he's pointing downfield. He's working the officials a little bit there. He's turning around. You can talk to Glenn Rissmiller and say, hey, they held my guy up a little bit. But you know, he throws the ball very strong on the run, maybe a little too strong on that play. And this will come in time. You know, just a sophomore, he'll settle in and he'll hit that next time.
Second and 12 from the 37. 3 receivers. And again through the air. Looking off, and that one's dangerous. That goes off the hands of Jake Weeder, who is coming back to the football, and that could have been picked off. That's a dangerous kind of pass in that situation.
Emmaus has that screen set up, and I think this is what Central wants to do to Mike Briscoe, is to disrupt him a little bit. He's looking for Weeder. Throws a little too high. Good pressure by Fashing. Now he's the linebacker. They're going to let him clean because they want to get the lineman out to block for that screen. But I think this is what Central wants to do. I think they've got to be pretty happy with their pass defense. They're going to try to confuse and disrupt Briscoe as much as they can. And that penalty, it took them out of that running game. They had been very effective on 1st and 10, and it put them in a 1st and 12, and they went right to the air.
3rd and 12 from the 37-yard line. Briscoe, 3 straight passes. In traffic, Christie on the coverage. And incomplete. Was looking downfield. Again, it was for Rob Eck. There had been some bumping back and forth down there.
There was a lot of contact. Nice block by Caverly to keep the pressure. You know, what the coaches don't like, what they don't like is the fact that he never looked back at the football. You know, Bet was covered on there, but he never looked back and faced the football, and I think that's what the coaching staff wanted.
Yeah, Briscoe is wondering what was happening there. Punt, Hauk will let this one roll, and this time a favorable roll for the Green Hornets. This is inside the 15 to the 14-yard line. Well, we had our Kraus Dodge trivia question earlier in the first quarter. Last week, Rob Hauk scored 7 touchdowns in Central Catholic's win over Crestwood, 49-0. Whose record for touchdowns in the game did he tie, and what year did it happen? Doug Heater, before it comes up on the screen.
Well, it was Comlin Lonergan, and it was 1996. Yep, against Becca. And they'd like to see, Central would love to see that next week if possible. Maybe
see, people out there watching our broadcast think he knew that. He's stealing my sheet over here. Kumla Lonergan in 96 against Becca, 7 rushing touchdowns, 25, 28, 150, 19, 3, and 15. Central Catholic won the game, Doug, by the score of what?
70 to 21?
No, that's close. You're trying there. 70 to 40. Central Catholic rushed for 494 yards in the win. You got to step up to the plate if you can answer these trivia questions. That is our Kraus Dodge trivia question for this afternoon. Rob Hauk.
Well, number 70 is Brian Reese. He makes that tackle, and he limps off the field. He was injured on that stop. Check his status. He's okay. He's standing back up again.
2nd down and 7. We'll call it 7, a little longer. From the 18-yard line. Back on the ground. Tackled by Sean Parr. Let's take a look at number 41, Brian Spott.
Spot, you see what the linebackers are doing? There's Parr coming up. They're doing it. Spot, you saw a little stutter step trying to find a lane. There isn't any. Linebackers are coming up. They're closing those holes. And when they're closing them, they're making the tackles.
3rd and 3 from the 22. And we got a whistle. That's a movement, I think, on that line.
Yeah, the backfield, it looked like went a little bit, about a half a step too early there for Central.
Dead ball foul, legal procedure on the offense, 5 yards, still 3rd down.
Yeah, there's Houck, half a step, trying to get the jump on the block.
Took an opportunity there for Central Catholic to get the 1st down. They haven't had a 1st down in a while after, you know, the first drive, and they had a 3rd down and 2. Now it's a 3rd down and 7. Different situation here for Josh Hinkle and the Vikings. From the 18-yard line, check that. No, they call it the 18. This one just lofted in the air. That's a dangerous pass. And he was looking for Nick Bett. It was like a wounded duck sitting up there. And Central Catholic let the punt it away.
Now they try to throw the fade. They're going to try to take advantage of Bett's athletic ability against Germani. You know, Germani's, yeah, he's waiting for that interception, and Bett goes up and gets it. Doesn't nearly make the play.
Sean Cassiano to punt. Kyle Wise to receive, standing at midfield. And this one's going to take a roll all the way down to the 42-yard line, and that's where Emmaus will start with a 7-0 advantage, 9:25 left. Today's game is being brought to you in part by ABE Doors and Windows, Family Prescription Center, Allentown Business School, Allentown Mazda Volvo, and Kleckner & Sons.
These
Thanks
two
to all.
schools will meet again on Monday afternoon in football over at the Emmaus Hornet Stadium. The freshman football game will start at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, some hitting down there. That's on special team. You know, Brian Frazier's coming into the game. Number 13, the junior, going to replace Brusco, at least for this series.
Yeah, with Doug, and that's not a surprise. We've seen it happen
right.
last week against Allen. It also happened. So Brusco, number 13. Brian Frazier, number 13, 6'3", 185-pound junior. They go to the ground, same kind of formation, and this is Matt Ernie. Ernie gets back to the line of scrimmage.
Now, and Frazier knows what it's like to beat Central. Did it a couple years ago. Watch the defense. String this one out, run it out. There's McFadden letting Ernie, you know, you want to come on in, I'm waiting for you here. And there's 55 Fashion going to finish things off. You know, Frazier was a quarterback as a freshman a couple years ago on this field when it was still grass, hit a big pass to Matt Gray for a touchdown, and that was a big win for Emmaus that season.
2nd down and 9. Frazier tucks it in, now waits. And he gets hit as he throws that one, and that one is picked off. Intercepted, Scott Christie. There's a flag on the play, so yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens here.
Frazier forced it. I think this is against Emmaus because of that ineligible man downfield.
On the offense, that's declined. 1st down.
So Frazier tries to make a play.
He stayed there to throw it. Watch him.
He tries to drop this one in, and his arm is hit too, but he's trying to thread it in between 3 defenders. He's looking for Morrissey. And it's intercepted by Scott Christie, who just pretty much can call for a fair catch, makes a nice play on it.
Well, huge break here for the Vikings, as their offense has sputtered so far this afternoon. We're at the 8:06 mark of quarter number 2. Emmaus on top 7-0. Emmaus scored on a 5-yard touchdown run by Matt Ernie with 1:30 left
10 seconds
in the clock.
Start the clock.
They won't start the clock until about 10 seconds. They'll leave the clock there. And this becomes a huge drive. Doug, almost one of those must drives, especially with the field position and maybe a little momentum going your way.
Central's got an opportunity to even this game up.
Hinkle goes to the ground. And there's Houck. Houck just busts through across midfield down to about the 46. Andrew Morrissey makes the stop for Emmaus.
Yeah, Morrissey 35. Ernie's going to come in. They run a trap. Both guards come. Ernie goes low, and then there's Brusco and Morrissey finishing things off. You know, Brusco gets an opportunity to play defense. Now, I don't think Houck liked the fact that he hit him awfully high.
Officials timeout.
7:57 on the clock, 7-0 to score. And this is close to the first down.
Looks like they got it. This is a nice drive on the ground. You see how effective a nice first down run is for you. When you run it out like that with Houck, he's able to come back and get that second and short, and they're able to convert.
Second first down of the afternoon, and there's another good run. As moving it effectively downfield is Jason Eretz. Sean Parr makes a stop.
Well, you see the effectiveness of Houck. He's the decoy, so they give it to the fullback, Eretz, and nobody hits him. Good blocking by that line. They open up a big hole. And then Parr from the linebacker spot comes over and hits him. Another big gain. Great gain for Central on first down.
Second down and 1. And there's a first down by Brian Spott. Up across the 30. Down inside to about the 27. Brian Reese makes the stop.
Yeah, Reese is back in. Another gap. Look at the opening. Just get the opening that this offensive line for Central, who's found a little something here after that interception. They found a little bit extra and realizing this was an important drive, and they're making a statement here.
6:45 on the clock. After a turnover, an interception by Brian Frazier came in relief. There, good coverage on Rob Houck with the carry. Sean Parr, and we've mentioned Sean Parr's name a number of times, and Coach talked about him.
He does a good job of just taking an offensive lineman and throwing him aside. Parr came from the linebacker. He's realizing, and these linebackers are realizing that Central's on the ground. So Parr takes the angle from the outside, sheds the blocker, and makes a nice tackle.
2nd and 10 from the 28. Reverse. And that is Tyler McCambridge inside the 25 down to about the 24. Still a couple yards short of the first down.
And Caverly makes the stop, but again, Parr is going to fight off that sweep. We'll reverse from Houck. Look at 33, turn it in, runs into his own guy, and then Caverly is able to make the stop, but 33 is draped around his legs. This becomes crucial here on third down.
And 3rd and 6. Nick Bent lined up to the far side of the field. Hinkle on the option, pitches it back to Houck. Houck gets outside past Ernie, sees the first down marker, and now a flag. It looked like he got the first down. We'll wait here on the penalty. Tackled on the player, pushed out of bounds anyway by Jamie Germani.
Probably going to get Central for holding. There it is. They run the option. Now, Rutkowski gets the initial hit. Ernie's going to try to turn this play in, but he takes the corner to Houck. And again, the holding penalty, like we talked about earlier, called against Emmaus behind the play. You know, they make it up now because they call one behind the play against Central Catholic.
During the run, holding, offense, 10 yards from the spot of the foul, still third down.
Yeah, they're going to get the tight end 84 for Central Catholic, Alex Lang, for that one. Grabbed enough of the jersey, and when you see the jersey tug like that, it's very easy for the officials to throw the yellow at you.
Well, the ball marked just outside the 30. 3rd down and 12. Again, there's a problem with the clock.
5 seconds, hold it. All right.
Now, the back judge keeps the official time on the field, and he's noticed that the clock has been running a little too long.
Take a quick look at Dennis Rommel, the athletic director at Emmaus, and coming in untouched is Brian Rutkowski. And we talked about him in the open, and watch how he comes in here, taking down Josh Hinkle.
He comes in on a blitz, coming from the outside, and gets just enough of Hinkle to knock him down. He's unblocked and comes wide. And a predictable passing situation there on 3rd and long.
You look at Donnie Roberts, his team driving the ball, and all of a sudden just stalls, and one reason for it was that penalty. Huge penalty. Cassiano to punt. Kyle Wise stands at his own 10-yard line. 4:47 on the clock and counting, 2nd quarter. Trying to get Emmaus to draw offside. Long count. Low snap. Cassiano will get rid of this one. And it takes a bounce in favor of the Emmaus Green Hornets. So good field position there after the punt for Emmaus, up 7-0.
And a good job by the Emmaus defense, too, to adjust to that. And obviously, it helped them when Central shot themselves in the foot for that holding penalty, because they had a first down on that option pitch and ended up all coming back. But they were unable, talking about Central, to take advantage of that interception. And Briscoe back in.
Briscoe, who sat out last series in the first play, Brian Frazier was intercepted, comes back in. Receiver split to the far side. They pitch this back to Ernie. Ernie
on the toss. Knocked out of bounds by.
Possibly gets one. As the clock continues to dwindle here in quarter number 2 as Jason Aritz makes the push out of bounds.
You see, they want Ernie to turn this play back in, but there's really nowhere for him to go. Good job by Central to string that out. You saw there's no lane. When they run that sweep, you give your running back the opportunity to go outside or inside, and he would have liked to have cut it back like he did before when they had the penalty, but there was no lane for him to go. And Central did a good job to string that out, and then they eventually ran him out of bounds.
2nd down and 9. And here's Ernie. Ernie gets popped across the 30 at about the 32-yard line. Not much there. One reason is Bill Fashing, number 55.
There's a difference that Central's done now. Is in the previous series of downs, Ernie wasn't hit that quick. And there's Fashing. Phil Noel, watch 55. See him stay with Ernie. Ernie cuts back. He fights off a block, and he hits him low and takes him down. Good defensive play by number 55, Bill Fashing.
Inside 4 minutes play, quarter number 2. 3rd and 6 from the 32. Briscoe goes from the shotgun, 2 receivers split, 1 on either side, and he goes to the ground. And this one handed off to Jamie Germani. Germani gets close to that first down marker, and sees Central trying to move the ball back.
Now they got a penalty flag down again, and it appears to be a holding penalty on Emmaus. Oh, the officials today calling a tight ball game, and they've been caught a couple times.
74. Holding during the run on the offensive team, 10 yards from the spot of the foul, still 3rd down.
Yeah, watch Brad Horn. He's going to get caught. He just takes his opponent down. There's where he drapes around. I mean, that's close. But, you know, again, just like I talked about tugging the jersey, if you see the offensive lineman's arms drop and come around a defender, it's going to be awfully tough. And I said, these guys are calling a tight ship, so they're looking in for these penalties, and that was an easy one for the officials to make.
3rd and 13 from the 25, 3:25 remaining, 2nd quarter. Bait the counter, and Briscoe will roll out of the pocket. Throws under pressure, and that one's almost intercepted downfield by Tyler McCambridge.
Well, Briscoe and Emmaus might have gotten away with one. Again, the pressure from Central on a double fake reverse. Bet will flush Briscoe out of the pocket, but this is not one the coaches would have liked to see him throw. He's looking for the tight end, number 83, and that's Hayburn. But look at the coverage, and they're just waiting for the ball to come, and they're lucky because he did hang it out a little bit that Central didn't pick that one off.
3 minutes, 16 seconds.
Briscoe will punt. Hauk set to receive and take out this boot. Brings Hauk all the way back to his 33-yard line. Now has a chance to return this one. Hauk across the 40, up to midfield, and we got another flag. Well, they're gonna likely blocking the back, and you saw Hauk as they try to make their move to the outside.
Yeah, and this is what Central's going to give you. There's the block. They're going to call the block on the back on number 42 for Central Catholic. That's Sean Fisher. It's going to negate a very, very good return.
During the run back, we have a block in the back by the receiving team, 10 yards from the spot of the foul, 1st down.
So Central Catholic will take over from the 38-yard line with 3:04 on the clock. Down 7-0. Hinkle, another flag. Oh, it started a game, no penalties. Now it's changed.
We saw this last week, Allen Emmaus, and we're seeing a lot of penalties called again tonight, or this afternoon, excuse me. You know, whether it's anxiousness, you know, both of these teams realizing this is a big game. Looked like they got the left side of the offensive line, you know, coming into that trap, getting a little bit anxious and firing the trigger a little bit too early.
So instead of 1st and 10, it's 1st and 15. This all comes after the ball could have been at the 46, 47-yard line, where they're blocking the back part all the way back. And then it carries Brian Spot. No running room there. As the Green Hornets defense, and we said over the last maybe 3 or 4 games, I mean, they've been solid for the most part all year long, but they really are coming into their own and getting more confidence each and every game. There's a hit.
Yeah, and Spot nearly drops that one. This one's Hayburn coming in, 83. Had a big sack last week and a lot of pressures as well from the linebacker spot. But you're right. I mean, this Emmaus defense, and especially when you get a 1st and 15 opportunity as a defense, you're looking your chops.
Hinkle to throw, has time, floats one out, and he gets the receiver, and that's Brian Spot out of the backfield, but he is met with a hit by Matt Ernie. Ernie only stands 5'8", 180, but he had all his weight into that one.
He delivers a lot at full speed. You know, they just try to drop it out in the flat, the Spot, but Ernie comes up, big hit. And you'll see it from the secondary as Ernie closes on this ball. Has good speed from the secondary. Spot makes a nice tackle on that one. It's a big play. They try to get Spot in the open, hope that he can catch and turn and maybe make a play out of it, but Ernie's closure on the ball just didn't allow it.
Those are the ones that you know as a receiver coming out of the backfield, or just a receiver, you're going to get hit afterwards. Hinkle to throw, has 4 receivers, looks and has Nagito downfield, and Brusco comes out of nowhere and pops it out.
Brusco is a free safety, and he tries to make a play on an interception. And because of the time and Hinkle lofting it out there, it allows number 4 to come over and make that play. And then Nagito nearly makes a play of the year by keeping this one alive. You know, it's still alive there. It gets a couple hands on it and falls aside.
Right there, Kyle. Catch the ball, man.
Cassiano has been punting. I think this is the 4th time today. 5th punt of the day. And that one blocked. So Emmaus will get good field position. That one blocked on a play. Rutkowski, I believe, is the player that got it.
It was. They call him Rock, and he's had a solid game today. Watch 42 come in and get a hand on this one.
Woo.
Yeah, Rutkowski got it, and then it's recovered by Parr. You know, one guy can't block 2 bodies, and he comes in and makes a block. And Emmaus, with just a little bit left here in the 2nd quarter, has an opportunity to add some points.
Oh, good field position for the Green Hornets from the 27. And it could be the big break. Here's Ernie, bust to the outside, has some running room, 10-5, touchdown, Ernie from 27 yards out. He scored at the 1:30 mark of quarter number 1. He scores at the 1:30 mark of quarter number 2, and it is 13-0.
Now he's still going because nobody's touched him yet from the other team. Caverly and Reese. This is a play. They run the sweep, or they run the trap, and they run it right behind the right side with the left guard pull, and you got the fullback to help out. They scored a touchdown on that play. They score another one.
This is what you call consistency when you're scoring on the same time each quarter. The point after by Viscuso is good. 14-0. Green Hornets on top, and all credit has to go. Well, besides Ernie, is Rutkowski, who set this up with the block punt.
Yeah, and Reese and Caverly, that's a lot. Reese with a kick out, and Caverly will pick up the linebacker. And then Ernie's speed covers a football and a head of steam. Too much for Matt Melly to take down, and another touchdown. Well, you see the Green Hornets got to do some push-ups with the cheerleaders.
You know me, I try to do that in a Lehigh game, and you know, I held my own.
You did 2, they're telling me.
No, I didn't do 2. I was going to do 43. See, at Lehigh, the cheerleaders, every time Lehigh scores, I'm just making sure maybe the people out there don't know. I mean, you could do 3 push-ups if you're lucky, but, you know, Boyd Ewell, our spotter, is trying to get one right now.
He's telling me you did it on your knees.
No, I did. I was going to do 43 push-ups because they say that's the most they do.
You did 43?
No, I did 21 because the cheerleader that I was doing the competition with had just done about 40, so I took it easy on her. Okay, we'll leave it at that. Now the score of 14-0. Back to the game. We don't want to talk about that. Let's stay right here at J. Bernie Crum Stadium.
21.
Wait, you can do 21 right now?
I can do it right now with the headset on.
All right, back to action. Doug Heater's lucky if he does 5. Escuso to kick off. And taken there by McCambridge. Jamie Germani with the stop.
See what Central does now with some time left. Now they want to. They may not want to risk anything here and be safe, but yet they'd like to try to strike something up. And, you know this offense can throw the football.
It's been a tough day for me so far in this press box. You haven't even noticed. I got stung by a bee earlier. I've been fighting that off.
Did you?
Oh, absolutely. Didn't you see me moving around over here? I got, trying to get first aid over here, and between our stat guy John Millett and Boyd Ewell, no one helped me. No ice here. These bees, I'll tell you what. 14-0 the score. Doug Heater's just moving on. I was going to say about this game, the Vikings going to the locker room down 7-0, and they have, obviously now down 14-0, a big difference for them.
Well, you can see they're going to try to run, but I don't think they want to risk the possibility of turning this one over again, depending on if they get a couple runs.
Well, here's Houck. Houck tries to get outside, and he gets the first down here with 54 seconds on the clock. They'll stop the clock momentarily as they move the chain. Well, now they'll wait.
Yeah, now they're going to now they take the timeout. Now I think with the field being a little shorter, you might see them open it up a little bit. 2 nice runs. Houck gets the carry. And an inside run by Eretz earlier has opened things up a little bit on the outside, but 2 nice runs. And Emmaus playing it safe, too, defensively. They don't want to give up a big play. They'd be content giving up 5-yard runs. So we'll see now if Central opens it up a little bit.
No, you're right. And, obviously they have the receivers. Nick Bett can go out there and get the ball, and McFadden, and, they have some receivers that can catch the ball, and even coming out of the backfield. And here, you still have 2 timeouts left. Anything's possible. You love to punch it in for Central Catholic. But, again, being at the 40, you don't want to make anyone of those mistakes, so you're down only 14-0. But in a game like this, down 14 is a huge uphill climb here for Donnie Roberts' squad.
One of the things that Joe Baudelaire said he wasn't happy with last week was the fact that Emmaus, his team, had the ball inside the red zone 3 times in the second half last week against Allen and came away with no points. Not so today. That the 27-yard run, technically not inside the red zone, but still a big run inside the 30, and they took advantage of the 2 opportunities they've had today.
53 ticks on the clock. Hinkle goes to the air, has a receiver, and that one is caught. Staying inbound is Tyler McCambridge. Clock will stop as they move the chains, and a perfect strike from Hinkle to McCambridge.
Yeah, McCambridge does a good job of coming back to the football. It's underthrown. He's got 2 guys over there. Parr's one of them, and Germani's the other. But McCambridge does a good job of turning back, coming to the football. The coaches would have liked to have seen him turn and go out of bounds, but they'll take the big completion. And this is what the Central offense can do. They do have the ability, with Josh Hinkle at quarterback, to throw a nice ball.
You're right. More concerned maybe of just making sure he stayed inbounds for the completion.
Yeah. Actually, I have to say that Parr drug him inbounds more so than McCambridge not trying to get out of bounds. So that's a heads-up play by Parr, knowing that he's going to look to get outside of the hash marks.
Now, Doug, you mentioned not giving up the big play. That was one big play. Of course, live tonight on TV2 Sports, Pottsville and the Deer of Huskies battle right here at J. Bernie Crum Stadium in Allentown. That game set for live coverage at 7 o'clock. 45 ticks on the clock, 14-0 Green Hornets, 2 touchdowns, both by Matt Ernie, one of 5 yards in quarter number 1, and one of 27 yards after a Brian Rutkowski block punt in quarter number 2. And now 1st and 10 from the 36. They go to the ground. This is Houck, and Houck's not going to get much here, and they're going to have to spike this ball. And that's what Josh Hinkle is indicating.
Yeah, they tried to catch him sleeping with that draw. Rutkowski, Reese did a good job of staying home and make the tackle.
A lot of time coming off the clock. And they'll get a 3rd down here with 24 seconds. They'll save in the timeout, and one reason saving the timeout, Doug, still a possibility of them even getting the field goal, as you see the scoreboard.
They can get in range, and you know, the field conditions aren't going to be a factor. There's a slight breeze, but that should be a factor. So they might want to try to, might be able to sneak a couple plays in here, and with the one timeout, they can throw one across the middle.
They're still way a distance away from getting his 3rd down and 7. So this is definitely 2-down territory. Here's Hinkle. Throws, and this one's intercepted by Ernie. Ernie picks it off at the 21-yard line. So the drive Central Catholic had stops. One reason for Ernie all over the field.
He has been such a factor today. They run the slant. They're looking for Bet to come across, and Hinkle in a timing pattern just throws the ball too high. And we've seen that a little bit today. Rakowski might have been a reason why. Good pressure, and Ernie's waiting. So 2 touchdowns and a key interception. But again, that defensive pressure, and you look at things that are done that are the little things that sometimes you don't notice, but Rakowski getting the hands up might have been the difference there why Hinkle had to throw that one high.
So 19 seconds on the clock. Turnover by Central Catholic. Briscoe likely take a knee here, and he's going to the locker room with the lead by 14, and that's exactly what he does.
Oh yeah, if you're Emmaus, you got to be extremely satisfied here, and you're going to get the ball to start the 3rd quarter as well.
No question. Time running out in quarter number 2. Ernie with 2 touchdowns, an interception, a block punt by Rakowski, and through 2 quarters of play from J. Bernie Crum Stadium in Allentown, the score 14-0 Emmaus over Central Catholic at the half. We'll be back on TV2 Sports.
Fans, if you love dealing with a winning team, head to the leader, Kleckner's in Whitehall and Emmaus, featuring GE washers and dryers, GE dishwashers, GE microwaves, GE ranges, GE refrigerators. Plus, Kleckner's features free delivery, backed by their own factory-trained service department. Hurry in for best selection. Make us your last stop and see the savings on new GE appliances at Kleckner's, 2177 MacArthur Road in Whitehall and 575 Chestnut Street, Emmaus.
Let's go get Yakult. You know it's always been the best. Let's go get Yakult for quality that beats the rest. They got cheesesteaks, French fries. The famous Yakult hot dog is known worldwide. Let's go get Yakult. The secret sauce is one of a kind.
Yakult's, an Allentown tradition.
The sail you see on every Scott Chevrolet has become much more than just a logo over the years. It's 3 generations of taking customer service to the next level.
No crazy promotions or outrageous offers, just a completely comfortable experience in the showroom or on the internet, where buying a car has never been easier.
It's no wonder Scott has been #1 in Chevy sales and customer loyalty for over 25 years. Scott Chevrolet. Come in for the sale, you'll stay for the service.
Doug Reichley knows that public service is about listening to the people and working hard to solve their problems. As a prosecutor for 12 years, Doug has been on the front lines fighting for us in the criminal justice system. Only Doug Reichley has the experience and dedication we need in our next state representative.
One of the most important lessons I've learned is that people want a leader who is there when they need him and who will work hard on the issues we all care about.
Elect Doug Reichley, state representative, a proven leader who will work for us.
You won't find this on any new BMW or this on any new Mercedes, but you will find them on a 1999 Volvo S80, which just goes to show They don't make some new cars like they used to. Certified pre-owned Volvos. Test drive one at your Volvo retailer today.
Good afternoon and welcome to today's halftime festivities being brought to you by Atlanta Metro. Take the bus to school, work, shopping, doctor's visits, and more. Ride the bus all day for just $2, and don't forget, seniors ride free during off-peak hours. Take the bus and you'll agree that Atlanta Metro is making it easy. Today for your halftime entertainment, we bring to you the Emmaus High School Marching Band. The band is under the direction of Mr. Darrell Goslin, and he's assisted by Matthew Connect. The drum major is David Wagner. 2002 officers include President Jen Massellin, Vice President Tanya Moll, Secretary Sean Hausman, and librarians are Laura Schaefer and Megan Schroeder. 2002 student leaders include Jen Massellin and Laura Schaefer in the woodwinds. The brass include George Reichert and Brenda Yarnell on the brass. Percussion is Brad Vorty and Ellen Gross. And the color guard is Megan Schroeder. Now down on the field under the direction of drum major David Wagner. Sit back and enjoy the Emmaus High School Green Hornet Marching Band. And there you have the Emmaus High School Marching Band. That's going to conclude our halftime festivities brought to you by the Atlanta Metro. Take the bus to school, work, shopping, doctor's visits, and more. Ride the bus all day for just $2. And don't forget, seniors ride free during off-peak hours. Take the bus and you'll agree that Atlanta Metro is making it easy. We'll be back with the start of the second half of today's game with Al DiCarlo and Doug Heater right after these messages.
You won't find this on any new BMW. Or this on any new Mercedes. But you will find them on a 1999 Volvo S80. Which just goes to show they don't make some new cars like they used to. Certified pre-owned Volvos. Test drive one at your Volvo retailer today.
There comes a time in an athlete's career when he knows he's at his best. It's that moment when victory is at hand, and he feels invincible. The level of the game is irrelevant. What matters most is the feeling, and it usually comes inside a Russell Athletic jersey. Bethlehem Sporting Goods and Russell Athletic are a part of nearly every triumphant moment throughout the Lehigh Valley. Choose Russell Athletic and Bethlehem Sporting Goods. A winning tradition starts with us.
Got land? Spectrum Homes has the perfect opportunity for lot owners looking to build their dream house. Just visit a Spectrum Build community and fall in love with one of our model homes. Then add your own personal touches. We feature high-quality Anderson products, as well as our unique Total Quality Assurance program.
10 from the 25, 1:19 on the clock, third quarter. Melly rolls to the far side. Here comes the pressure, throws, and that one is complete for the first down. And this time he has Bet.
Well, they roll Melly out. There's Reese coming from behind. What a great pass. Yeah, it's a tough pass, throwing that way, and what a great catch by Bet, changing his body direction and making a nice play.
Well, this is why you play 4 quarters of football. Emmaus dominated in the first half. For the most part, anyway, after the turnover by Central Catholic on the block punt. Now movement. And just as they say that, a flag here against Central Catholic.
Legal procedure against the Vikings. 5-yard penalty moves the ball back to the Central
Catholic. You saw the penalty. You know what it is? It's a change of quarterback here. You know, the cadence is a little different. The snap count's a little bit different. The offensive line has been used to working with Hinkle, and they go a little bit too soon.
First and 15 from the 32. Melly with Houck in motion. Here comes a rush. Rakowski can't get him. Melly throws off the back foot again, and that one incomplete.
Now you see Emmaus, has realized that Central's going to try to throw. They drop guys back. Good pressure again. There's Melly on the roll. Rakowski with the pressure. He's got to throw it on the run. But down in the secondary, you've got about 7 or 8 guys laying back in coverage. Well, about 6 or 7 guys. And there's just nowhere to go. He throws it on the run, and he's throwing the middle. And for Central, they're fortunate that one wasn't taken the other way.
Second and 15 from the 32. It's time they go to the ground, and not much running room there for Rob Houck. So bring up a huge third down here. Solid defense here by the Green Hornets.
Yeah, Godusky comes up, number 84, finish this one off. But you can see that